Just past the halfway mark of the tournament, it's time for a nice breather and take stock of where things stand. We are here at the home of cricket, Lords, and as the World Cup gets into the business end of the tournament, we are looking forward to England versus Australia, age-old rivalry, and perhaps there is no better venue in this World Cup to host this marquee clash, which obviously we'll see a lot throughout the summer as well, with the Ashes to follow the World Cup. But for now, it's about limited overs cricket, and as I said, the business end of the tournament. England, well, they've made things interesting and lively, not just for the World Cup as a whole, but also for the other teams. Loss against Sri Lanka means now against Australia, New Zealand, and India, they have to etch out 2 wins out of 3, and these are all the 3 sides ranked above them in the points table. Looking forward to this game, Jamie. England, well, they need to do a lot.
Absolutely, and we've seen a couple close matches which have really thrown the World Cup alive. Who would have thought, weeks ago, England hosts, seen by favourites as many, top-ranked one-day team, needing to now win 2 matches out of 3 to make the semi-finals. As you said, the 3 best teams await. New Zealand and India unbeaten in the World Cup. England have not beaten New Zealand in a World Cup match since 1992. India, the team, they have some recent success, but overall, India are the form team. And then Australia, while England have a 9-1 head-to-head advantage over Australia in ODIs in the last 18 months, this is a very different Australian team, one which has David Warner, Stephen Smith and Mitchell Starc back. They're ranked 2 in the tournament. It's not going to be easy for England, no matter what Owen Morgan said before this match.
Well, 9-1 scoreline, it's an interesting one because from one point of view, it says that England have dominated Australian cricket. But then if you look back over the last 2-3 years, there have been times where England have lost matches. It doesn't really make sense. Just the Sri Lankan game, it didn't really make sense that they fluffed a chase which was 220 odd. This is a team that backs itself to score 350, 400 every time it goes out to bat. So it really just is baffling. Now, coming back to that 9-1 scoreline, you said Warner is back, Smith is back. And talking from this Australian point of view, this is a side that's not perhaps playing its best cricket at the moment. And yet, they are etching out wins. They lost against India, yes, which is perhaps one of the better bowling attacks. And obviously chasing 350. But even then, even against other sides, against West Indies, against Pakistan, they're not playing their best cricket and yet winning.
Which perhaps speaks of the real threat that this Australian team poses. Even in the games they've lost, their batsmen have been scoring runs. I think a lot of the dependency is, from the bowling perspective, on Mitchell Starc. Pat Cummins, fantastic bowler that he is, has not really done much of note. And then guys like Nathan Coulter-Nile, Jason Behrendorff, Kane Richardson, playing supporting acts. Perhaps it's time to play Nathan Lyon instead of Adam Zampa. A few left-handers in England's lineup. And Lyon is a superior test bowler, but hasn't really got his due in one-day cricket. Perhaps now, with Australia also needing, 2 wins to cement their place in the semi-finals, maybe a chance we see some changes. But again, on this pitch, the one which we saw yesterday on Sunday, Pakistan, South Africa had a bit of a green tinge. Owen Morgan expects this one here at Lords to also wear a green look. So perhaps the focus now on what team Australia plays.
Well, we've seen the groundsmen at work today throughout the day, and they've been taking off some grass off the pitch. The slant is very, very discernible. Spin might just come into play a bit more because last summer when I was here with the Indian tour, the grass was there on the pitch, but it was holding the top surface together so that it just doesn't become a rank turner. You made an interesting point about Nathan Lyon coming into the side. There's been a lot of talk about, yes, Australia are in a good position, but you need to bring in your specialist spinner. You need to try out all your combinations. For England, perhaps it's not the same because Jason Roy, he's gone for a second scan. There have been news that if he's ready, he might only be ready for the game against India, which is also an all-important game, by the way. But here, what are England looking at against Australia?
They may be tempted to play an extra seamer. Maybe Moeen Ali goes out and someone like Tom Curran gets his first chance. Again, Moeen Ali really has not had much of an impact both as a batsman and a bowler. And considering the fact that Owen Morgan knows this ground very well, he captains Middlesex, this is their home ground, he would know the pitch better than anybody else in that England team. And in fact, Morgan was asked in the pre-match press conference whether another seamer could come into play, and he said absolutely that's a possibility. So maybe from that perspective, Moeen Ali goes out and Tom Curran, because seam bowler, can bat, very good fielder, he's an all-rounder. Not a bad idea at Lord's.
And you know, England are not averse to making surprising changes. One of the key difference that stands out for me between this Australian and English side is when after Jason Roy's injury, England have struggled to put on a good start, especially with James Wince struggling. You compare that with Australia, who have David Warner and Aaron Finch. They're going great guns. Warner has just redefined the way he's approaching ODI and knocks now. Might be surprising or might not be surprising that they play an extra seamer, England play an extra seamer, and Chris Woakes walks out to open the innings with Johnny Bairstow. He has 100 here last summer against India in that rain-affected test match. Rain expected to play a part tomorrow. It's supposed to be cloudy, sunny, wet on Tuesday. It's Australia versus England. It's the big game. It's at Lord's.